I say, they're beer in them. So the Rebbe explains now that the matbeya that the Yidden were given became a matbeya shel eish. They got the power of eish in the physical coin. Let's look inside. They're beating them. Der mit gufe was her o HaKadosh Baruch Hu matbeya shel eish. This itself, that Hashem showed him a coin of fire. Und gesagt, Zayitnu, and he says, this you shall give. That saying of Hashem, hat der Eberster Peil given, the Hashem impacted, aufgemacht Achidush, he made up this novelty, der Machzis HaShekel, was Eden haben gegeben damals, for the Machzis HaShekel they gave at that time, because the Eberster said then Zayitnu, but really, und das wird nimshach b'mitzvus Machzis HaShekel, Tomit Kol HaYomim. This continues in the mitzvah of Machzis HaShekel constantly for all the days, even though that was a one-time thing at that time, but that is extended to the Machzis HaShekel that the Yidden give, that it's not nor a matbeya gashmis, it's not only a physical coin, but nor oich a matbeya shalish. This is a coin of fire, this haste. Demult is nischadish geworden, which means then that novelty has been came about as the matbeya was der Eberster bavizun Moshe. That coin that the Eberster showed Moshe, the matbeya v'ziz b'shorsho eish tachas kisakov. This coin, as it is in its root, under the throne of honor, this they give Bnei Yisrael Madeira Kozeh Mamish, actually such a coin. So that was the gift in Sugob. So this is in addition to doing a mitzvah, it becomes Aish and every Ruchnis, but this is an additional part. This is the Zayitnu that the Eibishter showed and that they gave them in Sugob der Tzu. In addition to the fact was durch der Mitzvah is men mamshich poil in der matbeya an inyan funeish, that through the mitzvah we extend and we impact in the coin. A fire in the coin, when you do a mitzvah, it becomes fire, it becomes ruchnis. But this is azoi by alla mitzvahs kinal. This is by all mitzvahs, as we said before. Is by Machzis HaShekel do Achidush Miyucha. There's a special novelty, as the Matbeya Atzma, the coin itself, is Matbeya Shaleish, is a coin of fire. The Chidush in them is not as Bishorsho, is as a Matbeya Shaleish. Here the novelty is not that in the root, this is the root of this physical, it is a coin of ace, a coin of fire. This is by all dvarim gashmim. This is by all physical matter. They all evolve from their spiritual root. But where is the source? It remains above and they come down below to be physical. Their source finds itself and remains above. They are below a physical matter. But in them was euch noch dem wie die Matbeya is nicht talschel geworden und herabgekommen elm hazakashmi. But also in this, that even after the coin evolved and it came down into the physical world, is durch dem was mis mekayim mitir the mitzvah for machzis hashekel. In this physical world, which all other mitzvahs remain physical, but here we're saying, in this physical world of ours, is through was mis mekayim mitir the mitzvah for machzis hashekel, you fulfill the mitzvah of a half a shekel, vert oivgiton ashinui in der matbeya, we make a change in the coin, as ivert vizigitinzach begashmis, that it turns as it is physically, it becomes a matbeya shaleish, a coin of fire. Okay, this was something accomplished. Now we have to understand. Now we see that this is something novel only by Machzis HaShekel, that the physical Machzis HaShekel has the spiritual age, the root here, Begashmi, is that it's age. So now we understand why the Eibush has to show that. Vov, apizevet menach verstehen. Based on this, we can also understand the Chidush Meyuchot for Machzis HaShekel. That special novelty of half a shekel was what gefordert apula miyuchedes, which required a very special act from the Eberstein. That matbeya shel eish hoitzi. The Eberstein takes out that coin of fire. Omar, and he says, Ze yitu, this give legabe alle andere mitzvahs, how this is unique and special relative to all other mitzvahs. Das, was men gefind by alle mitzvahs, this that we find by all mitzvahs. As a mitzvah is mamshich hachayus ruchni, that a mitzvah draws down a spiritual vitality and Aisha fire in the Rasiya Gashmis, in the physical doing. You draw down an energy, you draw down a fire. Is das als in an Eufen, but it's all in a way, was der Gashmi Atzme is bleibt lematum im ruchni. There's all in a way that the physical itself remains even below, it remains below from the source, from the spirituality. It stays on, but you draw it down, not in. Them Gashmi is men mamshich achayis ruchni, but rather in the physical matter, you draw down a spiritual entity. You haven't changed the physical, it remains physical. You bring down from this spiritual into the physical. But thus is that inyan von Ishtauslos. That means it evolved, as in dem Tachten is do, that in the lower one exists, sometimes it also shines from the alien, from the one above. Aber der Tachten bleibt lamata from the alien, but the lower remains below the upper one. Mas enke bei Machzis HaShekel is the Chiddush, but the novelty when it comes to Machzis HaShekel, as the Matbeya Gashmius was in Kibun, Izi Atzmo Vert Matbeya Shleish, that physical coin that the Yidden give, that becomes a coin of fire. Achibur from Shnei HaFachim. You're connecting two opposites, spiritual and physical. I feel that Eish Gashmi from Elam Hazeh. Even if you talk about the physical fire in this world, is that a kotseach hofchi from matbeya? That's a extreme opposite from a coin. Matbeya is offer. Matbeya is sand. Unin offer gufa, and in sand itself, b'mamaki adoma kinal. A coin is made out of silver, copper, whatever, but it's in the depth of the earth. The yisoid achi nomuch. It's also from amongst the four elements. Doimim tzemei chai. It's doimim. It's the lowest. Un eish is der yisoid achi gavoya v'naila, and eish is the highest. I meant to eish ruach maimen offer. Sorry. So the four elements of eish ruach maimen offer is the lowest, and eish is the higher. So even the way it's in this world, these are opposites. That's the physical fire and the physical earth are opposite. And how much more so, when we look about the content, the meaning of them in spiritual kiyudua, as it's known as the Daled Yisoidus Eish Ruch Maim Offer Zainen Kineged the Daled Olumis Atzilus Bri Yitzirasiya. The four elements of fire, wind, water, and dust and earth correspond to the four worlds of Atzilus Bri Yitzirasiya. Offer Kineged Olam Hasiya. So sand corresponds to the world of Asiya. Olam Achitachten, that's the lowest worlds. Un Eish Kineged Olam Hatzilus, and fire corresponds to the world of Atzilus. Olam Achielin, that's the highest world. So was der Chibur from the Shnei HaFochim, the connecting of these two pieces, Matbeya Gashmis mit Matbeya Shalesh, a physical coin with the coin of fire, Balachas kam v'kamo, and how much more so? It's not just a regular fire that we're connecting to the physical gashmis. Ados is not that eish von elam hazag gashmi. We're not connecting it the fire of the physical world, nor zeh that eish tachas kisa kodesh. Zeh, the Eberster shows him zeh this the eish tachas kisa kovet. So here we're making a matbeya out of the eish tachas kisa kovet. Is heper dem ganzen inyan von Seder Ishtalshlus. This is contrary to the idea of evolving. It doesn't evolve. These are connecting opposites. Was Ishtalshlus meint Kinal. Ishtalshlus means, as we said before, as der Tachten is sich mishtalshel, that the lower one evolves ubemele lemata from the Elyon, and that's why he's below the Elyon. But here we're connecting the Elyon with the Tachten. So this is a novelty to connect Eish with Gashmis, on Eish Ruchni, Tachas Kisa covered with a Matbeya Shel Eish. So physically, even in this world, Eish and is the highest and Offer is the lowest Matbeya, but certainly according to the meaning of Atzilus and Asiya. But furthermore, the Rebbe says, noch mehr, even more. Das is Heipach Afilu from the Seder from Torah. This goes against the order of Torah, was is hecher from Welt. Torah is higher than world. Even the order of Torah, which is higher than world, afila von ir seder binyone Torah. Even the Torah's order in matters of Torah. But the seder in Torah is in an eifun von ishtalshlus. The way Torah works, it works. Everything goes gradual. It evolves. As chelek hapshat, the portion of literal of this meaning was his connected olam ha'asiya, which corresponds to the world of asiya. Izich mashtalsel drei shlovim. It evolves 3 steps from chelek hasod. It evolved 3 steps from this portion of the secret. Was his connected olam ha'atzilus, which is corresponding to atzilus. Is b'meila nidrikeru b'harbe from him, and therefore it's lower and much lower from him. So the pshat is much lower than the soid, because it is 3 steps lower. Pshat, drush, remesh, sod. So from sod to come down to pshat, it goes down 3 levels. Und der Riber ken od der chibur from matbeya mit eish. So therefore that connecting of matbeya with eish nit evgitom werden durch hamalach. A malach can't accomplish that. Even not through Torah. Was they alle seinen Beäufung von Histalschluss? They're all Histalschluss. Saying, why does the Eibishter have to show it? Why can't he say it? Why can't it be like the regular Torah? Torah can't accomplish this because in Torah things go gradual. And it's defined, limited in the definition of Histalschluss. Only Hashem in His glory by Himself. He willingly chose He wasn't forced in Seder Ishtalshlus. He willingly wants there should be an order of Ishtalshlus, but He can do whatever He wishes. He can do, He's all able, He can do whatever He wants. Nimna hanimnois. There's nothing that He cannot do. You can't, He's nimna, you cannot take away from Him. Nimnois, things that cannot be done. He can do everything, basically. He can negate, destroy, can take away the order of Ishtalshlus. And to connect these 2 opposites from Gashmis and Ruchnis, from physical and spiritual, as the matbeya gashmis olveren bepoil in olam hazeh, that this physical coin should be also in actuality in this world, oich amatbeya shaleish, that this should be a coin of fire. Zion. So now we'll understand exactly how this idea that Rebbe explained here, that connection, is expressed in the words of the Gemara in the Medrash. Und das ist die Tshuva von Eberstein in Medrash, über die Kloshna Medrash. This is the response that the Eberstein answers in the Medrash, like Toysus brings down. And specifically in the language of the Medrash, Matbeya shel eish hoitzi HaKodesh Baruch Hu, ve'omar lo zeh yitnu. The Eberstein took out HaKodesh Baruch Hu, Dafke HaKodesh Baruch Hu. Ve'omar lo zeh yitna. HaKodesh Baruch Hu taiken durch anamira. It was Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is the one that makes that Matbeya Shalish, and Omar, and said it. Die Vereinigung von Gashmis und Ruchnis, that union from physical and spiritual, as a Matbeya Gashmis lover noicha Matbeya Shalish, that a physical coin should also become a coin of fire. Beide bepoil basachas, both of them together at once. Kesef bekoifer nafshe. It is kesef. It's silver. It's also an atonement for the nefesh. Can gemacht werden nur durch HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This can be made only by HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'atzmei canal. Because he can connect opposites. Was hat b'ritzoyne beicher gewen in Seder Ishtalshlus. He willingly, in his will, he wanted evolution. But then, pshita, as is nit mukbel in Ishtalshlus. So therefore, it's obvious that he's not limited by Ishtalshlus. V'yochel levatle. He can negate it. So he wants the Ruchnis and the Gashmis to be together. Similar, there's the concept that we say, creating from ex nihilo, making something in existence from nothing. Was ken sein nor from Husay v'atzmusay shel hamaitzel. The Rebbe is quoting now from Igeres HaKodesh Simon Chav, that this can come only from Husay v'atzmusay shel hamaitzel baruch hu, shemitziusay hu me'atzmusay. Hashem, whose existence is from himself, he's not a consequence from some cause. Nothing causes him. There's nothing before that brings him about. That's why Hashem alone is the one that's in his power and ability to create something from nothing. And just like Yesh Me'ayin, something from nothing is doch die Esabas und Meise Bereshis given durch Amir v'Dibur Davke. How did we create? How did the Eibishter create? The act of creation was through speech. Vayomer the Asorim Amoris, Vasorim Amoris Nivra Oilum. The world was created with the 10 sayings. Or B'dvar Havai Shemayim Nasu, the Pasuk says, with the words of Hashem, the heavens were created, made. Hazoi Zoich Benegeya der Hisavus. That is also as it relates this creation as a matbeya gashmis, so werden euch eish, that a physical coin should become fire, as das wird aufgetan durch Dibur HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his Dibur, the speech, just like the Eberster creates Yesh Me'ayin with Dibur, he created this with speech to connect the fire with the coin, the Gashmi Ruchnis. The Dibur HaKadosh Baruch Hu Zayitno. When Hashem says this, they shall give. It must be a Gashmis was Yidden given. This physical coin that Yidden give Yitnu, but sein euch Eish, this is going to be Eish Zeh. Hot Mahave given. So that created, that brought about the Mechidush, this novelty, Bidugma v'di Hisabus and Ivroim b'Sheshus, Yimei Bereshis, similar to the creation of the created being, the 6 days of creation, Bereshis durch the Burim Amorish HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then the Eibishter creates through his speech and saying. Here, the Eibishter gave another saying, a new saying, a saying that makes this into a new creation, that the Kesef and the Eish come together, that this becomes, even though you're giving it a Kesef, you're giving it a coin, a Duimim, from the Adoma, but yet it gets the power of the Eish. Why did Moshe need to Davke show this, and the Eibishter can make He can make the age whatever the Rebbe wants to do. Why did it need to be shown this? Chayre kann man fragen, sicher hat Moshe Rabbeinu gewusst, for sure Moshe Rabbeinu knew. Ich ate the Eibishter hat ihm bewiesen hat Be'eshel Age, even before Hashem showed him a coin of fire. As es is bicholti is baruch zu mechaber sein shnei hafachim. That Hashem has the ability to connect to opposite. Was davon ist verstandig, from this we understand, as der Eibishter can mechaber sein, die Matbeya Gashmis mit ihr Shoyresh Beruchnis. So we know that Hashem can connect the physical coin with her root in spirituality. Ba'adra kushya leduchta. So the question comes back to the place, if Moshe Rabbeinu knows already that Eibusha can do it, what is the Tmei for Moshe? Why would he be surprised? Ma yuchel otum litin koifer nafshei. What can a person give for atonement for his soul? Meaning, how can physicality connect with spirituality? But if the Eibishter says that without saying Zayit, without showing him, the Eibishter says, give him Machzah Shekel, the Eibishter can make that connection. Why do we need the Eibishter to show him there? And why is Moshe Rabbeinu surprised? The answer to Moshe Rabbeinu's question, the way the Rebbe explained it, how could we connect the Koifer Nafshe, which is the ultimate spiritual, with Machzis HaShekel, which is physical? And the answer is that the Eibishter could. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know that. His Kamachov is B'davar. Umehem. Aleph, in Chochma v'Seichel b'Kedusha, when we talk about the Chochma and wisdom, the intellect of Kedusha, Moshe, darf azaz zach sein temua. Something like this needs to be something surprising. Nor zayin dik a chukah is a nit maharer. But if it's a chukah, you're not going to question it. You're going to say the Eibishter can do it. Aber wir können nicht sagen, dass ein Mishpat oder Eidus, you can't say that this is a logical, a Mishpatim, or a Eidus, a testimony, something logical. So, okay, you want this to be, Moshe Rabbeinu knew the Eibishter can do it, but not to explain to Moshe Rabbeinu. He knows the Eibishter can connect things, but he didn't know how is it explained. Base. Now we're explaining it, that it's through the Gashmis becoming the Ruchnis. Beis, wie bald als der Eibishter hat nicht Magdir gewinnt, der macht sich Shekel als Chuko. Since Hashem did not define this as a Chuko, is sicher as es ist da hasbor of sein Tmiyah. So for sure there must be some sort of an explanation on what is one and how we can connect. Und die Mitzvah macht sich Shekel, and therefore the Mitzvah macht sich Shekel, geht da rein in der Hishtauschluss von Teuro Mitzvahs. So then we're saying that the Mitzvah Machzah Shekel is part of the evolution of Teuro Mitzvahs. Und noch mehr, not in the Chukah, noch mehr in dem Gufa, nicht in dem Sug von Chukah, and not in the category of Chukah. Because the Torah didn't say that this was a chukah. So that means that it's not a chukah, that there is something to explain this. It goes into the way Torah mitzvahs involves in some logical way. How does it come from the aish to the coin? It skips over the various levels over there. So we have to say that it's part of Torah and not a chukah of Torah, because the Torah didn't define it as a chukah. Und das ist auch der Diuk in der Tshuva b'Medrash, also the specific language of Medrash, Kimin Matbeya Shel Eish Her Ohul Moshe. He showed Moshe like a coin of fire. The day to arop nemen the Tmiyah von Moshe, in order to take away, to remove this surprise, the question of Moshe, is nicht genug zu sagen zu Moshe. It's not enough to tell it to Moshe. Well, damals bleibt das hat mir, was man kann nicht verstehen, besechel. Because if you just say that remains a question that you can't understand it logically. So you can say it, but it doesn't fit. But as it gedacht sein her oh, Hashem had to show it. As the pi'ula, wie die matbeya gashmis, vertoicha matbeya shalish. This impact that the physical coin becomes a coin of fire, so sein in an ofen for the iya. You should see it. The Zach is begilu mamish. It is really open. In an oifum from zeh yitnu marebetz boy v'merzeh. When you say zeh, you can show with your finger and say zeh. Zeh yitnu because the Eibishter showed it to him how it is. So Moshe Rabbeinu, in wisdom of kedusha, also sees it, realizes. You can't explain it through saying that this is a matbeya shalesh. Nochmer. Der Gilu is not nor by Moshe. That's not only by Moshe, nor by alle Yidden. Because the Eberster says, Azer Nisinis Ba'ifim Zayitnu. They all give it such. As in der Matbeye Vazei Gibun steht Begilu Oich, that in this coin that they're giving, that also openly, you see there, Aziz Zeh, Matbeye Shalesh, that this is a coin of fire. Lahafchin Heitev, to really examine, Vayidei Lo Yidia Li Yisrael. He should be examining it and then telling it over to the Yidden. It's the lashon of Tisa over there in the Gemara, on the Gemara, where that he is going to see this, examine it well, that matbeya, and then tell the Yidden. And this is the Zayitnu, that he sees the Gilui from the Eish in the matbeya. So the Rebbe explains here is, yes, the Eibishter can connect things, but it doesn't have something. Uh, it's a surprise still. He's not going to understand it. And number two, in Torah itself, the Torah didn't define it as a chukah. So therefore, the Medrash says that her o, it's a vision. You can't just say it, but here, oh, and then Moshe Rabbeinu saw that connection, that this coin, the physical coin, and through Moshe Rabbeinu, all the Yidden got it, that this is really fire. Test. The Rebbe says we can add there now more explanation in the idea of the coin of fire, which is why we're talking about fires. The L'chaira would seem to madgish sein as the matbei was Yidden given is, if we're trying to emphasize that when the Yidden give a coin, nit nor a matbei gashmi nor oich the matbei shalamaylo shemetachas kisa kovet, but Hashem is also giving, when you're giving your physical, you're also giving that coin of above, which is tach kisa kovet, which is eish, is nit muchrach zu weisen matbei shal eish davka. You don't have to show a fiery coin. But megifint as the mile is eichdo, you can also show a inyan hamayim. There's water mechol sar shamayim mechol hulu. Pavosot and bavizn matbeya shel eish davke. Why do we show coin of eish? The Rebbe explains we're showing a matbeya shel eish to point out that this is the source matbeya. Zayitnu, when you give the gashmis your coin, you're really given the spiritual coin. But why do we have to define this spiritual coin by eish? We can say the water coin, any coin which is lamaila. Yes, leimer as the mito der Eibishter bavizn und durch dem aufgetan. Can say that through this Hashem showed and accomplished as the nisina from machzis hashekel zol zayin nit nor an inyan ruchni, that the Eibishter accomplished that this should be not just a spiritual matter, nor in ruchni's gufa an inyan fun eish, but in spiritually itself, it should be the level of fire. The Eibishter specifically wanted this to be a Eish coin because of the special quality of Eish. Der Unterschied zwischen Eish und the andere Yesodis, the difference between fire and the other elements, Ofer, Mayim, Veruach, the sand, water, and the air, Kipshutim Lamata, as it's literally here below was der Funis verstandig euch. From this we can also understand benegeya to shorshim aruchnim, to their spiritual sword. Is so what's the difference? The andere is soide seine yered lamato, that the other elements descend below, or the lechola yeser, or at the most bleiben bim koimim, they stay in place. Mashenkin teva eish is soile sein lamaila. The nature of fire is to go up to above. Ad kedei kach, to such an extent as fodert sich ha'ishtadlus, that it requires an effort, miyuchedes, a specific special effort, durch hapsila v'chulu, by a wick, as the age of bleiben lamata, that the fire should be below. Fire wants to go up. You have to hold down to it through the wick. The other elements, either they go down, or at least so they stay stationary. They don't go down. They don't go up. Und das hat der Eibishter bewiesen Moshe mit Bein Shaleis. And this the Eibishter showed Moshe a coin of fire, as the Nesina from Machzis HaShekel durch Eden, that when the Yidden give a half a shekel, the Yidden give it, it's not a nesivna from a matbei ruch. It's not just we're giving a general, a spiritual coin, nor in them gufa boy from eish. We give it in a way of fire, as hot the tchuna from eish, that it has the characteristic of fire. Zuständig sein lamail, it always wants to go up higher. Lalis bekoidish ilu achar ilu, to go up in holiness, one elevation after the other elevation. Und der Mit is noch mehr yumtak. And this way it is also sweetened via matbeya gashmis can öftan koifer nafshay. How a physical coin can accomplish atonement for the soul. Bald as hot in sich the tchuna von eish. It has the characteristic of fire. This points to the elevation of above. Was der weitet sich von chumri is, that you're distancing yourself from materialism, und die Sheifa to Ruchnis, and the looking out and trying for spirituality, yearning for spirituality by age. So that's why the physical coin can accomplish the koifer nafshe. Not only is it the zayitnu, that spiritual matbeya, but it's an eish matbeya. It keeps on going higher. From this, we learn a tremendous, wondrous lesson in service of man. Even though the command to give a half a shekel is mainly in the time the Beis Hamikdash was existent, to leave the karbonos tzibur for dem ganzen year, you needed to give the half a shekel for the karbonos of all the year. That was the need. We don't have a Beis Hamikdash, and we don't have the physical, practical need for the machzah shekel. Von deswegen, but yet, is doch euch bis man hazeh voran the minig Yisrael. Also nowadays we have the Jewish tradition, litin koidem Purim, to give before Purim, belel Purim, koidem sheb mispalim mincha. On the night of Purim, before you daven mincha, the evening of Purim, night of Purim, machzis men adveya hakavua b'yisur mokim, to give a half from this set coin in that place, u'b'yisur zman, and during that time. Zeicher lemachzis hashekel, we're still doing it to remember the machzis hashekel. So you noisnim ba'ador, that they would give in order. Ume'achar sheshloisha pa'amim ksiv truma beparsha yishlitna shloisha. Since it says 3 times shloisha, that's why we have to give also 3, which is the language of the Ramah. No, it's not. This is the Loshen. Okay, in any event, let's see, D6. Yeah, this is the Ramah. Yeah. So, anyways, Neusuf Lozeh. Since every Jew has a mishkan and a migdosh, a sanctuary, a spiritual, as it says amongst them, with amongst each and every Yid, is verstandig, as es is do der Inyan von Nisinas Machzis HaShekel Beruchnis, that there exists the idea from giving a half a shekel spiritually, from welchem memach the adne hamishkan, from which we make the sockets of the mishkan, from the mishkan ruchnische betoichem, The Mishkan Ruchnetz within you. So this idea of half a shekel spiritually to make your own foundation of your Mishkan. Und if them is the hero from the minion from Zayitno. Over here we have the lesson from Zayitno. Matbeya shel eish, a coin of fire. As when Eden give a brutal mitzvah, when Eden give a coin for a mitzvah l'tzedakah. Und azoyoich, same thing when meis mefayis an oni bidvorim. When you consult a poor person with words, dibur gashmis, physical words, through the hema tzoyis hapeh gashmi, through the 5 expressions of the physical mouth. So you appease him, you comfort him, you make him feel good through your physical words. Is das nicht stamma gashmis? That's not just a physical coin or the dibur gashmi or a physical speech. That's a coin of fire. An inyan for ruchnis v'kedusha. This is spiritual and holy. And in dem gufen, this itself mit der tchuna von eish. You have the characteristic of fire. Was tivai is as is ständig lamayla. The connection of fire that its natural goes up. You are giving a coin. You are appeasing him. You're saying physical words, but those are fire that you're giving him. You're giving him if you use noch the spiritual, the characteristic of fire, you are giving him spiritual and holiness. For machzis hashekel lernt man up if alla mitzvahs. And from the half a shekel, we also learn for all mitzvahs. And yet, the pula von Aiden in Yonei Torah mitzvahs, every act of a yid that matters of Torah mitzvahs. Although they have been dressed up in physical matters, dafke. Tzitzis betzemer gashmi, tzitzis in physical world, tefillin beklav gashmi, tefillin in physical parchment, similar other mitzvahs. All gashmi is the thing. Wool, tzitzis, parchment, physical. So you look at it, maybe that these are physical. No, is das nicht. That's not just a physical act. This is also a coin of fire. Spiritually and hold them. For them is verstandig. So from this we understand. Der Geudel ilu flow in dem Inyan von Chayes, the great advantage and how special, wondrous is the concept of energy, passion, Warmkeit, warmth, und Hislavus and excitement, Eishel Kedusha, in der Avodah von Aiden, in the service of Aid, B'chol in Yonah Torah mitzvahs, in all matters of Torah and its mitzvahs, Biz as in yet their P'ula Zayne, to the extent that in every act is Nikir the Matbeya Shal Eish, you can tell the coin of fire, Bizas, and is Mekayim dem Tzivui, till he fulfills the command, Eish Tamid, a constant fire, Tukadal Mizbeach Halev, should be fire on the Mizbeach and the Lev, Letivba shouldn't extinguish. You always have that fire in everything that you do, so you're fulfilling the mitzvah of Eish Tamid, Tukadal Mizbeach. Your Mizbeach in your heart, Lo Yisichbe, should not be extinguished. This is Mesichas Shabbos Parshas Mishpatim, Parshas Kolim, Tavshin Memhei.